Today, I'll be discussing crisis management planning and its role in helping firms respond effectively to unexpected situations. We'll consider how to evaluate a crisis management plan, not simply as a document, but as a practical tool for decision-making, communication, and coordinated action when normal operations are disrupted. The central question is whether the plan genuinely prepares the organization to manage a crisis. This discussion is part of business environments and concepts. A crisis management plan is a structured, pre-approved framework for responding when an unexpected, high-stakes event threatens an organization's operations, reputation, finances, or safety. Its purpose is to replace improvisation with coordinated action. Instead of making rushed decisions under pressure, teams know who is responsible, what steps to follow, and how to communicate. This reduces chaos, protects brand trust, and helps maintain the confidence of employees, customers, partners, and other stakeholders when a difficult situation unfolds. Firms can face several distinct types of crises, and each one creates different pressures for leadership. Operational crises disrupt the ability to function through supply chain breakdowns, facility failures, or IT outages. Financial crises threaten stability, whether caused by fraud, liquidity problems, or a sudden market collapse. Reputational crises damage trust and may follow a scandal, product recall, or executive misconduct. Finally, natural and external events, such as pandemics, disasters, or geopolitical disruption, can affect the organization even when their origins lie outside the firm. Recognizing these categories helps companies prepare more deliberately. An effective crisis management plan, or CMP, rests on 5 core components. First, risk assessment identifies and prioritizes potential threats. Second, a crisis team establishes clear roles and response authority. Third, communications provide consistent internal and external messaging. Fourth, business continuity keeps critical operations and services running. The fifth is post-crisis review, which helps the organization learn and improve after an event. Skipping any one pillar creates a dangerous gap, and without structured follow-up, firms are significantly more likely to face the same crisis twice. A crisis response team is most effective when it exists before the crisis begins. The team must be designated, trained, and ready in advance, rather than created under pressure. Clear leadership and a defined chain of command help prevent conflicting instructions when time is limited. At the same time, cross-functional representation brings different perspectives and reduces the risk of blind spots. Most importantly, every member needs to understand their responsibilities before an incident occurs. Without a designated CRT, organizations often lose valuable time and struggle to contain the situation early. During a crisis, communication is not separate from the response. It is part of the response. Customers, employees, investors, and the media form lasting impressions based on how quickly, clearly, and authentically a firm speaks. Speed, accuracy, and empathy are the essential principles. Acknowledge the situation quickly, because silence can look like guilt or incompetence. Share only confirmed facts, avoid speculation, and commit to updates as a picture develops. Most importantly, lead with genuine concern for those affected before discussing the business impact. A crisis management plan is only effective if it works in practice, not just on paper. I evaluate it against 3 essential criteria. First, is it current, with a formal review and update at least once a year? Second, is it tested through regular simulations or tabletop exercises, so teams know how to respond under pressure? And third, is it accessible, allowing key personnel to find critical guidance immediately? The strongest plans are continuously improved and embedded in organizational culture, rather than filed away and forgotten. The Johnson & Johnson Tylenol crisis is widely regarded as the gold standard in crisis response. After cyanide-laced capsules caused 7 deaths, the company immediately recalled 31 million bottles, before regulators required it to do so. That decision put public safety ahead of short-term profit, while transparent, proactive communication helped maintain trust during an extremely serious event. The company ultimately recovered 95% of its market share within a year. The lasting lesson is clear. Decisive action, grounded in clear values, can build remarkable brand resilience. When crisis plans fail, the warning signs are usually visible beforehand. Outdated documentation is a major risk, especially when plans no longer reflect changes in organizational structure, technology, or the risk landscape. Another red flag is undefined authority. If no decision maker is clearly named, teams can freeze while waiting for direction. Poor communication channels create a different problem, when internal messages conflict with external statements and increase stakeholder panic. Finally, a plan that is never drilled is rarely reliable. Practice builds a muscle memory teams need to respond quickly and consistently under pressure. Crisis management is not a single event that begins when disaster strikes. It is an ongoing cycle that requires attention before, during, and after a crisis. Beforehand, preparation and investment build resilience and typically deliver the highest return because they reduce the impact of future disruptions. During the crisis, organizations must respond actively and effectively. Afterward, a thorough review closes a loop, identifying lessons and preventing recurrence. The goal is continuous improvement. Learn from each cycle, strengthen the organization, and remain better prepared for the next challenge. The key takeaways are straightforward. Prepare before the crisis with a current and actionable CMP. Assign clear authority, communicate with speed, accuracy, and empathy, and keep improving through drills, audits, and reviews. For exam questions, evaluate currency, command clarity, communication strategy, and evidence that the plan has been tested.